Welcome to Miss G's Art. And today we're going to draw our own Wayne Thiebaud's cake. So the first thing you need to draw is an oval for your cake. How big is your oval? It depends how big you want your cake to be. Next step is draw two vertical lines on the both sides of your oval. We will create a cylinder. Make sure they're the same length. Next step is draw another curved line or a wide smiley face at the bottom of your cake. Make sure they connect. Next thing to do is draw a dot in the middle of your cylinder. Then on either side of the dot, you're going to draw two vertical lines. This is where our cake slice will be cut out of our cake. Next step is from our dot, we will connect it to our lines. We will form a triangle. Now we will erase our two lines. We're erasing it because this will be a slice out of our cake. Next step is draw a line from the center of the cake down the middle, but not all the way down. Now we're going to connect this line to this and this to this. Try to make sure this is the same angle as these lines. Now our cake is missing a slice. The fun part now is you're going to decorate your cake any way you want. Could be any theme. If you want to be Pokemon theme, Minecraft theme, or any anime theme. That's what we will do next. If you want to add layers to your cake or cream filling, you just repeat the same diagonal lines that you had from your cake. And just connect. It'll look like an upside down V shape. Now have fun decorating your cake. After you got your cake decorated, now it's time to color. When we start coloring our cake, we will start to add shadows to it to help it give it a more 3D look. I'm using colored pencils. It's easier to add shadow with colored pencils, but you can also use crayons, just a little bit more trickier. One way to make it 3D, you could color the cake. You're going to put more pressure. That means you're going to scoot up your colored pencils closer to the top. You're going to apply more pressure to on your paper. I want to use a blue for mine. So I like to lightly outline my edge of my cake. Notice I'm pressing harder pressure. And as I go closer to the cake, I'm going to lightly let go of my pressure, meaning putting less force onto your paper to give you a gradation from dark to light. Kind of gives it a feel of the roundness of the cake. You will keep working on it till you get it how you like. If you want to add a little bit more dramatic, you can add a little bit black on the edges to help make it a little bit more darker. Just a little bit. You can go back over whatever color you're using and color it in and try to blend it. And if you want to blend your lighter one, you can always use a white and color on top. You notice the colors will start to blend. But this is optional. It's up to you how you want to use your colors. Now, I'm working on adding more shadow to my cake. I added my dark edges. In the inside of the cake, I'm going to work on my shadows. Usually if the light source is over here, it will shine, it will be brighter on one area and it will be dark on the opposite. So this cake is kind of hidden from the light source. It's going to be darker and it's going to be a little bit lighter, so that's why it will create a shadow. So this side I colored a lot harder, and I push harder on my pencil to my paper. And this side I color lightly, I mean less pressure, so you don't push your pencil too hard. But it's up to you how you want to do your shadow. You can experiment with different ways. If you want to go back and lighten your areas more, you can always go back with a white crayon, if you're white color pencils, I mean, if you're using color pencil. You can even, if you're using crowns instead, you can even use crowns on top of it. And it makes your colors blend in really nicely. I'm almost done with my cake. Remember, yours do not have to be as detailed as mine. Mine is just an example. Don't forget on those outer edges to darken those up and go a little bit lighter. It means put more pressure, and as you go closer to the middle, or you want a lighter highlight, lessen your pressure. Also, if you want some darker contrast on the edges, you can just lightly add some black to your drawing. If you use like a pink or yellow, you might want to try to use gray instead. Just a little bit. It doesn't take that much. You could go over back of that color you had and blend it in. We're almost done. Next, I will show you how to draw a shadow in the background of your cake. Next, I'm going to draw my plate for my cake. So I'm going to take my pencil and draw a half circle or half oval around your cake. Just depends how big do you want it. Okay, I got my plate drawn. I went about halfway down and wrapped it around my plate, but if you want to make your plate a little bit smaller, you can scoot to near the bottom of your cake. It's up to you. Next, I'm going to create a shadow. So the shadow depends on where you want your light source to be, but I'm going to put mine on the left side of my cake. So the shadow is going to be like a half circle. Since the cake is already round, it wouldn't make sense to make a shadow square since our cake is round. So I'm going to lightly sketch out my shadow. Your shadow does not have to be that big. Mine's going to be a small shadow. So if my plate is a pink color, a light pink, that means my shadow will be a dark pink, because the shadow is always dark. If you want to darken your shadow even more, you could even go add a little bit more black to it. When you add black, to be careful, just do it very, very lightly. Can you figure out who's the cake? The theme I picked for my cake is Sailor Moon. Now I'm done with my cake. Now I get to pick the background of my background. You can pick one solid color that you like. Okay, I already finished my cake. I made my horizontal line right near the background so we see our table and our background of our cake. Hope you had fun watching me making my Sailor Moon cake. Can't wait to see your creativity.